Real African stories and real African experiences. This is the Legally Clueless video series. And in this episode, Thiru shares about pursuing and rethinking his passion for acting.
So actually, I always wanted to act since I was a kid. Since I was I remember my first ever play with Kagwe. Kagwe, my brother, and he played my uncle, and he's younger than me. And it was the first play we ever did. I think I was Kagwe must have been 6 or 7. And I think I was 10. And I loved it. But then I started doing a lot of plays when I was in Riara. And then moved to SA, and I had a chance to do a couple of plays there. Did a lot more plays actually in SA. Then moved back to Kenya, did a couple more plays when I moved to Rusinga. Then I moved to Braeburn College, and then, did one of the biggest plays known to man, Boing Boing, which was interesting because it's about a captain who has many female chicks, basically chicks who on the side. So, and they're all air hostesses, and they all land on the same time for the one weekend, and he has to change his whole house every time somebody comes into the room. So it was really fun. Then sadly I went sort of on a break when I moved to Australia because it was really hard to get roles. But also then I was not really actively looking for it. I don't think it's something I thought I was going to get into, because throughout the period of doing my acting, it was never seen as a thing to make money out of, or a thing where you can, live life. So when I went to Australia, it was very hard. When I kept looking for roles, it was very much white, Asian, or, it was never a black role. So that was kind of hard to get into. So I never acted actually the whole time in 5 years when I was in Australia, which was kind of sad actually, because I really should have taken advantage more of it. But anyway, it is what it is. But also I'm glad, because that was a very deep time in my life, mentally. So maybe I would not be able to handle the quote unquote fame that comes with acting in a different country, and the stress that comes with acting. Because that's when I was going through very much through my suicidal thoughts, figuring out whether this is what am I meant to be alive? What's the whole point of being alive? Which was very saddening, but also enlightening at the same time, because I was with a partner. I was dating somebody who was, for the lack of words, as fucked up as I was, and it didn't help. It really, really didn't help having two people who are not in the same page mentally, especially, forget even emotionally, at 22, 23 is the worst. And so that whole period was a really dark time, from drugs to alcoholism, to suicide, to actually even getting the fact that I got a degree is actually shockingly. But then, I remember sitting one day with a very good friend of mine, actually, who's my best friend now, and him reminding me that, we were talking about actually the other day, it was his birthday, and he was like, do you know how far we've come? Do you remember the days I used to have to come to my liquor store to buy a bottle of vodka every day? And now, I had to sit with you to drink it, because you used to drink it by yourself a day. But now we're, chilling somewhere. You're not great, but you're good. So then, that helped me get out of that space. I'm really blessed to have a friend we've been best friends for, 21? So we've been best friends for, 12 years, 13 years, which is rare in this day and age. Then moved back to Kenya, which also had, it's very weird journey, because please don't hold this whole time I have been on meds, right? So antidepressants, anti-anxiety, sleeping pills. So when I got back to Kenya, I was staying with my mom for a bit, about 3 to 6 months. And during that time, my relationship with my mom was not the best. She was also going through her own demons that she didn't know she was dealing with. And during that period is where we used to fight a lot. Then, because I really wanted to start DJing, because I DJ as well. I'm a man of many talents. Not just tall, dark, and handsome. No, but seriously, so I really want to start this club. In fact, we always say I'd have been the DJ Joe Falme if it was not for my mother. But it's okay. It is okay. Each one in their own time. So my best friend and I decided we want to start this managing of clubs. And my mom was like, oh, I don't think that's what you should be doing. You need to get a degree like that. Like you should be really focusing on what you're meant to do. So we really used to fight a lot. So 3 months in, I was like, F it, I'll get a job. So I got a job, I got an internship. But still, my mental health was not the best. And the fight with my mom was not getting any better. Until one day she just came home and she was like, I just want to say sorry. I was like, what? Do you know, I'm actually just going to look in the camera. How many African mothers say sorry for anything? Usually you're told, what do you want to eat for dinner? Or I was told sorry. So my mom told me sorry and she realized all the problems that she was going through. And then she was like, listen, I feel like I've scarred you. So let me take you for therapy. And I was like, here we go again. But she gave me like this whole alternate type of therapy, which was nice because it's very much USA and get to know your spirits and, what people call the 70s type of vibe, So which was nice. It was great. I enjoyed it. I got out of my dark space. I forgave my mother. We became best of friends. I moved out. Please note, this whole time I haven't thought about acting. I don't know. I've really not even thought about acting once. So I'm living my best life, enjoying everything. I have my dips and I have my highs. But then, I met this beautiful lady who then became the mother of my child, and became who's now a great co-parent. And everything was perfect. And well, not perfect, that's a lie. Everything was very on and off, but there's like, you feel like, when you meet somebody and you're like, it's so, not toxic, but like, it's so extreme. The love is extreme. So you're like, this is meant to be. This is exactly what it's meant to be. Like Bold and the Beautiful vibes, where like you're living your best life. And I would like to, for the longest, we were very, very happy. That we got married, that we got the baby, or traditionally married. Let me just put that in. Yes, I Rashad. They got a beautiful baby, Mahaki. And things just really took a whole turn for me. Because then I started realizing, not just realizing, but just figuring out how things are not as great as I thought they were. And it's not just her fault, it's both our faults. Like there's so much we did not talk about because we were young. There's so much we didn't talk about getting into this. And then the relationship just switched and became very, very toxic for both of us. I largely played a massive role in that because I was dealing with my mental, and she was also dealing with mental, but we also didn't realize it. We even tried going for therapy, couple therapy, and we both just agreed that maybe we just need to take a break and let it go, which is what we did. I sadly took that very badly. I took it very badly because I was very, very in love with her. I loved her so much, and I was like, there's no way you're leaving me. So I started treating her very badly. And, in hindsight, I was like, and now I get it. And I find myself stupidly doing it till today, where when somebody doesn't hurt me because I'm hurting them, I get upset at myself. So I lash out. I'm like a 4-year-old. Like I realized, when you're emotional like a 4-year-old. Actually, let me just twist this way. It's like my grandfather always told me, and I wish I paid attention to this. This sounds very rude, and I'm sorry to the women. I know me, I'm a team feminist, but this is not very rude, but it makes sense to an extent. So one day I was sitting with, I think I was like 21, and no, I was 23. So and my baby brother was like 2 or 3 years old. So sitting in Nyeri, my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, and my baby brother. But me and my grandfather had sat away. And so I asked him, let me ask you, what's the secret to a great marriage? And he looks at me and he goes, see that baby? He's like, yeah, see that woman, those women. Emotionally, they're the same. I was like, what? What does that mean? Like, that's a bit rude, young man. And he's like, no, think about it this way. Why is it that when your 2-year-old brother throws a tantrum, you're okay with it? But when your mom or your grandmother throws a tantrum, it's a problem, it's a fight. And I was like, yeah, because there should be logic. And it's like, no. Therein lies the problem. Logic. Don't think logically. And so in hindsight, there are many things I know I should have not, this doesn't apply to women as well, it applies to also men. Not everyone thinks logically. And that's when I realized that when, my daughter throws a tantrum, why is it that I'm like, oh, when you're done, talk to me later, and you continue with your day, and she'll come back and she'll be like, sorry, daddy. I'm like, it's okay. Do you know why I was upset? She'll be like, yeah. And it makes a difference. And that's how I do things nowadays. And I'm like, imagine if I just did it that way. I'll still probably be married. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm glad I went through it. I went through that process. But so then again, so during the breakup, I really went on a dip. And I really, really went on a bad dip. And then I was working as event producer for a big organization, which was heavy and a lot. And so now I'm back on the streets. So me and the streets became one. Let me tell you something. Me and the streets really became one. And just then is when I got the best friend call, right? So I'd been doing a bunch of auditions since I got back in 2011. So between 2011 and 2019, nothing, acting-wise. Nothing. So I was like, cool, easy. I sort of like put it on the back burner. And then 2019, I get this call from a very amazing producer. She's called Windesa, and actually who's now a director as well, and got a couple of new shows coming out. And she's like, listen, Jennifer Gatero wants your brother, but for a movie, because he had just done a movie. But I want you to do it instead. So for me, for the longest time, I've always been compared to my younger brother, Kagwe, because, to be honest, he's always been out there a lot more than I have. I've always been his number one cheerleader, and I have no problem with that. And he's my best friend. Like, I'm so blessed to have Kagwe as my brother, and not even just as my brother, as my best friend, because for those people that know Kagwe personally, you know Kagwe, so I don't even have to say anymore. So for me, it was never a big issue. However, there is those demons that can come inside of you and are like, oh, it's because he's light skinned. It's because mom loves him more. It's because you're not as, you're not as focused as he is. There's so many demons that I used to compare myself with Kagwe. But anyway, so they get this phone call and I was like, oh, cool. So do you want Kagwe's number? It's like, no, I want you to do this. I was like, cool, I'm on the way home. I'm actually getting my hair cut. Can I call you after that? I see a time we can meet. She's like, cool. As I'm getting my hair cut, she's like, actually, can we do a video call when you get home? I'm like, cool, what's up? This is 2019. Where with it nowadays? So I open up my phone. We do this call. So I meet Jennifer Gatero for the first time. And for those that don't know, Jennifer Gatero is, if not the most amazing and underrated Kenyan writer, director, producer, and hopefully one day my best friend. So, she gets onto the phone call and she's like, oh, let's just do the audition now. I'm like, oh, what is a panic attack? Hi, panic attack. My name is Thiru. And she's like, we do the audition. Next thing you know, she's like, cool, let's have a meeting next week. I'm like, that's it? No feedback? Like, no, you're perfect. You're actually perfect for the role. So I had no idea about the role. I'm now dealing with all of these demons, but I'm now coming out of the demons. And I'm like, now, I said, especially 2019 was the year I said, I am here. Let's deal. So, we get onto the first read and, Martin Githinji, aka Daddy Mato, walks in. And I remember the first thing I said was very dumb. And I told him, I said, bro, you look familiar. Where do I know you from? And in my head, it didn't click who it was, right? And then that was just the first day. And so we opened the script. And of course, I'm like, may know my role here. I am but just a supporting act. And so Jennifer goes, hey, by the way, you're Chris. I'm like, cool. Then we're going through the thing, and all I'm seeing is just Chris. And like me and Daddy Mato look at each other like, what's going on? Chris. I'm like, cool, so I'm playing Chris. Are you sure? I'm asking Jennifer this. Are you sure I'm playing Chris? Like, yeah. And, they're great about it. Everyone's great about it. And we go to the first day, we're meeting the whole crew. And Brenda Werimo walks in, Victoria Gishora walks in. I'm like, these guys have awards. Me, I'm just, who has a big paper bag, So, I get on set with these great human beings that during this whole period, have been so nice and taught me so much about acting. And, then Best Friend comes out and it blows up. And that's when I also realized, even me, I'm a big shot. I got this, Adele is calling me to do podcasts. What? No, but like I sort of, it sort of got to me because like this was my dream. I was finally living it, and then I started getting phone calls for different, shows and opportunities. I quit my job. I started falling into this. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, it's not going past pilots. It's not going past. So the whole of 2019 after Best Friends, I didn't do anything. Actually, I did. I shot one short film that didn't even come out. And I was like, oh man, here we go back again. And my depression. And that's when I figured out one of my biggest problems is attention. Like, and it's weird. I know, like, why would I have a problem with attention? Look at me. No, but it's because like growing up, I was always compared to my other cousins who always did better. Because I was naturally a creative, and like my other cousins who were very much book smart. Me, put me on a stage, I can learn lines in a heartbeat. Tell me to do learn 3 times 3, bro. 25? And so that was always a problem. Also as compared to other people. So I always felt like I had to come up with a form of attention-seeking things. So, but then now my parents split up when I was 11, 12. And during that whole period as well, my father, who was my hero for the longest, didn't want us. Or felt like he didn't want us. Because he'd be one of those guys who'd say, you know what, I'll pick you up on Saturday and then show up until Sunday. In fact, it's become such a bad thing innately in us that I don't know about Kagwe, but for me personally, I don't get ready until you're at the gate. Like it's that scarred in me till like I'm 33, right? That's a whole 20 something years later. I'm still scarred like that I naturally do that. And even like when I'm going to go pick up somebody, I tell you 10 minutes before I'm leaving the house that I'm leaving the house because I don't, that anxiety of being made to wait. So it really dealt into like how my relationships, one, two, how I felt about myself because I never felt loved. And it was very hard to feel loved. And even then with my mother, who now we have the most amazing relationship in the world. And I'm grateful for that journey because if we didn't do that, my mother and I would not be as close as we are. I didn't get that chance to show my love and to show that I can be who I am growing up. And so even currently, so leading up to like that whole, oh my God, there's no attention, what I do, money's drying up. And then luckily, I got a couple of clients to do my event production company, which went well. Then 2020 clocked over. And, just before Rona hit, I was not getting any jobs. And at this time, please note, I'm taking care of quite a number of households. So just as it's about to hit, I get a job offer from one big radio station. And I'm like, perfect. I got this radio station. I'm good. We're good. Easy. I can pay my Denny's. We're legit. Just as we're starting my first month in pandemic, which means the amount of money I was meant to be earning versus what I was going to earn, whole different ball. In fact, like 60% less of my first time, right? Please note, I've not made any money in the past 3 months. So I'm like, okay, here we go. But I was like, you know what? I've got a job. Let's stay positive. And by the way, did you actually know there's something known as toxic positivity? I didn't know there was that. I found out as I was going through it. So this whole time I'm at this radio station and it's great, it's going well, everything's working out. And then all of a sudden they stop paying me. They're like, oh, we're trying to find money to pay you. And then they'll pay me half this month, they'll pay me half the next month. And I was like, oh my gosh, like we're back here. I have a kid. Guys, I have a kid. I'm not just living my best life out here. I'm in the house. I actually really enjoyed the pandemic time. I didn't club. I didn't how guys were like, oh, let's go do this. I didn't. Shockingly, me of all people. And so during that whole time, it was hard. I would go through the dips. I was reminding myself, okay, what am I worth? Because I'm back at what I used to earn literally 10 years ago, before I had a kid, before I had, responsibilities. And then Selena called. And so this is very funny how this Selena happened. I went for an audition. Shout out to Gerald Lagiri. As usual, my plug. He calls me and is like, dude, there's a massive opportunity for you to be in a film. Come through. And when I walk into this audition, not only, I don't know if most people know this, guys, but I met one of my biggest crushes who was Mumbi Minor. She was on Sense 8. We had actually met before, but I walked into a room and there was Mumbi Minor. I've forgotten, I'm gone blank today, but literally think of all the big names in acting in Kenya and me. Right? So I walk in, I was like, we're back here. Okay, I'm looking around and I'd known each one of them from different scenes, never acting wise, a couple from doing a couple auditions. So I'm saying hi to guys, hi, oh my God, dude, oh yeah, I didn't know you act. Everyone's like, I didn't know you act. Oh yeah, but I saw you did. Oh yeah, and I'm like, okay. I went outside and had 5 cigarettes, in one go, bro. So I go back in and the director calls me and bro, messed up the whole thing. When you just know as you're, I was like, yeah, let me just walk out. Thanks, guys. This is a cheers. And it didn't work out. And I remember when it's called, because Gerald wasn't there, and I called Gerald. I was like, listen, I messed up. I just want to tell you, thank you so much. Before even the director tells you, by the way. And he was like, hey, bro. Then he calls me later. He's like, bro, I watched the tape. That's not you. What's going on? It's like, dude, you put me in a room full of big names. Yes, I won't lie to you. I'd not been on a set for almost a year. So it's like, cool. Actually, you know what? I've got a role for you. I'm like, what's up? I'll call you next week. I'm like, cool. This whole time I'm dealing with this money issues on this side. And it's also a very toxic place. The place was very toxic. So I was like, cool. And then he calls me and was like, dude, I want you to be on one episode of Selena. I'm like, oh, okay. What do I have to do? He's like, no, say a couple of lines. I'm like, Celeste daddy. We go, we do my lines, I dip. I'm like, great. 2 weeks later, dude, are you free tomorrow? Yeah, come do some more. Started to do some more. So between towards the end of mid 2020, I was finding myself in quite a number of episodes of Selena. And I was like, wow. But then now, with that came the whole thing of doing a lot harder dialogue, which was very Swahili. And if you know me, we do not look together. We are very separate. My Swahili is enough for just getting me through life. Not the Swahili from Coast. Anyway, so I did that, and I remember being on set on one of the episodes, and I had to keep redoing it. And you can tell the director's getting frustrated. They're like, I can see that you got the acting skills, but mdomo ni shida. And so we did it, and anyway, I'm also glad they sort of cut a part of it out. I watched that episode. But then from then on, I never get called back, and that was the last time I've been on set. And through that I was just like, wow, acting in Kenya is just not easy. And then I finally get a call back. We're about to start shooting something for a different project that had been in the works for like 2 years. And then we're locked down again. I was just like, bruh, I'm tired. So I've sort of done this thing where I'm at a point where like, if it's hard, F it. I'm not going to stress about it. And the moment I said that, I got a job offer to work at another radio station, or actually it's a media house. And, I've been at that media house for the past almost October. So like, it's been a good time. And then actually it's been oddly, I love my job. I love my job fully. I've got, great people at work. And so during that whole time, I was still being positive, but please remember, I still haven't been paid for like months. I'm still dealing now with catching up with the payments. My daughter's trying to go back to school. I was still trying to be positive. And then one day just decided, you can't be positive anymore. Bro, you need to be realistic. You're not okay. And what that did to me was made me realize that I was fighting with everyone for small reasons. And I was like, bro, you're back to where you were 20 years ago. Why are you doing that? And luckily, I caught that. And I realized, so I was just going through my meditation as usual, and I realized that I was being too positive. Like everything was like, don't worry, we got this. The universe, it is there for us. But I was lying to myself. And I was not feeling, and especially because like one of the things, actually the thing that triggered it actually was I shot a film that was meant to go on Netflix and they lost my scenes. And I was like, cool, no problem, it's okay, you owe me. And then it just hit me. That was one of my dreams. Somebody just took away my dream of being on Netflix. Because I can say, not just say it, but be like, listen, this is the scene I've done. I can use that as, as a CV. You know how guys are like, yeah, oh my God, you have the UN on the Netflix on my CV, acting CV, in 2 years of acting. Oh my gosh. So that put me on a dip, and I won't lie to you, it's put me on a massive dip since then, where now everything just hits me hard now. So at any form of rejection is now hitting me. But I'm very blessed in the sense that, one, I noticed that and that I've been able to catch it. So now whenever I feel it, I'm very aware and I warn the people around me. I'm like, listen, I'm in this space. I don't know what to do. I don't know what you can do, but I just need to be in this space. And I've been around, with like my best friends, my brother, and my partner, who's been able to show me how it's okay. Because for them, I've always been that person. They're always like, thank God, finally, you're letting us take care of you. Finally. It's still hard though. It is still hard letting other people take care of me. Even like my own mother taking care of me is hard. Like, where she's like, oh, no, it's okay, don't worry, do this, don't worry, I'll sort it out. I'm like, why? Like, why are you sorting it out? Like, I'm your son, let me do it. But for her, she's like, that is it. So if anything from my life journey I want people to take out is learn to let other people take care of you. Don't be selfish and, take it too far. But if somebody is like, bro, I got you. Yes, you don't do it every day. You're not that person who's like, oh my God, every weekend you're them taking advantage of them. No. But if like someday someone is like, dude, can I take you for a coffee? Can I take you for a drink on my bill? And let's talk. Don't feel bad about not wanting to go. Don't feel bad that, you've got a male or female partner that wants to take care of you. Not to use, not to just spend all the money on you or anything like that, but is willing that, and one understands your love languages and understands how to take care of you. Let them. Because you realize that once you let other people take care of you, you can deal with what you're going through. Not that I'm saying that it's going to be done in a day, but you can then now go through the process. And also it helps them understand your process. And so when the roles are reversed as well, you're there for them, so they're there for you. So that'll be my my parting shot, learn to be loved, learn to be taken care of. And, just one more thing I actually want to say is I learned this as well. Don't, just because it's your passion, or that means it's meant for you, right? I think that's the important thing we need to understand, is that just because you have a passion for something, that means it's meant for you. Working hard, there's a difference between working hard and working smart. Having a goal and trying to get at it is great, easy. But the idea is that the journey changes, right? So we're always focused on the end goal and we don't remember the journey we're on. And it's a reminder I have to keep telling myself that, yes, I would have liked to be an amazing actor by now. Maybe it's not for me, Maybe I'm meant to be a TV host, Maybe I'm meant to be running a media company, But I'm always meant to be in front of the camera, that's for sure. I know you like looking at this. Sorry, I really digress. This is called coping mechanisms. No, but yeah, so whatever it is, you'll always find a way to get to it. I was reading a great book called Big Magic, and it says that passion is not always a goal. It's finding your creative incline. So whatever you want to do in life creative-wise, don't really focus on your passion, because you focus on that, you close yourself from everything. Focus on just being creative in your whatever it is that you do, and you never know. It could be like Adele here, She sometimes models. Did you know that? So a chick who couldn't be in front of a camera, nowadays just here. I got you. Anyway, that's my parting shot.
Thanks for watching this episode. Remember, you can catch new Legally Clueless video episodes every Friday and new audio episodes every Monday.